Greetings,
Shalom,
family.
family.
This is my husband, Kenny,
And this is my wife, Dawn.
and we are the coaches here at Relationship Restoration Coaching Services.
How y'all doing today?
And listen, we are so delighted to have this conversation with you and to invite you into this conversation that we were already kind of having.
Yes.
And so today's topic is going to be about communication and listening.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. How well do you listen to your spouse or to your children or to any of your loved ones?
Yeah. Sometimes we tend to dialogue and conversation, and we talk with each other. And in the midst of us talking with each other, sometimes we don't really hear what the person is trying to get across to us. Not because we don't want to, is just because that we tend to be like feeling some kind of way or thinking of whatever they're thinking of. And to be honest, we never really ever was taught to really practice attentive listening.
Absolutely, because listening is actually a skill.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was in a class in college, and one of the parts of the curriculum was to learn about communication. And what I learned was that effective communication is mostly listening.
Yeah.
And you're watching body language and you're talking, but it's not all talking and a little listening. It's a lot of listening and little talking.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing about that, the irony is that even in scripture, it says it's better to be slow to speak, but quick to listen, slow to speak. And so that's really an attribute that we have to learn. And so, most of us didn't grow up knowing that, just knowing how to do that. That is something that you have to acquire. It's a skill set, just like with anything else that we do out here. Is you have to learn the skill to be able to do it effectively.
Yes.
It's not that we don't know how to do it. It's just that we're not always very effective at doing it.
And it's not that we don't want to listen. We do want to listen. But what happens in all relationships is sometimes person says something that we don't like or does something that we don't like, and before they can even talk to us about it, we already have a preconceived notion in our mind that you weren't listening from the beginning, and sometimes it's true. But what happens is you tend to begin to defend yourself, or tend to try to put the blame on somebody else. When it's like if you just would have took the time to slow down, relax, calm down, listen to what the person has to say. And it's not a skill that we are even really taught to develop.
Yeah.
The skill itself is just something, especially, growing up. When you're growing up, when your parents are talking, you're respectable. I mean, you're respectful. And you hush and you just listen and you nod and you talk, when you're talked to, when you're spoken to, when they give you your freedom to speak. But then when you get older, you tend to, because of the restriction, you tend to power conversations, or you tend to just go off into a tangent without even understanding or realizing that the other person is. Conversations is a two-way street.
Exactly. And I really like how you made that point, because we were told that respect is the child be quiet while the parent talk, and the child don't have anything that they can say or any input that they can put into the conversation, because you're a child, and you I know I was told you stay in a child's place.
Yeah.
And so but a lot of times I've learned with our children that they do have input.
Yeah.
And they actually, it's it's a lot of times that they speak with wisdom if I just listen to them. And I'll give you a good example. I remember because I was a person who dealt a lot with anger and rage. Like that was something that I had that was a stronghold in my life. And so I remember when one of my sons was little, he may have been, well, gosh, she was maybe 6 years old at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and so one day I went like kind of like on this rant and rave, and I'm like, I don't even know what I was ranting and raving about, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And my son said, "Mom, why are you so angry?
Yeah.
Why you just snapping?" He was like, "Mom, you just snapping for no reason." And you know what? In that moment, it arrested me.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm acting like that. And so I had to, in that moment, I humbled myself because I knew that what was coming out of his mouth was true. It
Yeah.
was true. He didn't say anything wrong to me. Now, had it been one of our parents, our teeth might have been on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in that moment, I was having a character flaw. In that moment, I was not representing the Most High. I was not representing even myself in a good way. I wasn't, and so I had to stop and I had to humble myself and I had to listen and I repented and I apologized to my son for my behavior.
Yeah.
And I even went to the Most High and I was like, you know what, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm ranting and raving like that, and I need you to help me with whatever is going on with me. I need you to help me to get to the root of my issue. So if he had to speak through my son, so be it.
And I've learned to listen to my wife, especially throughout the years of going through, the loss that we've had and going through raising children that weren't ours per se, but they were, relations, my siblings, and not really taking the time at the time to really listen to the things that my wife had to say, not really listen to her feelings and her thoughts concerning things that were going on in the house. And what I learned then, well, from that situation is you always have to take the time to listen. Because sometimes just listening to a person and actually give that person the fight and motivation of what it is that they need just to get through the day, get through the week, get through the hard situations that's going forth. And yeah, and just taking the time, just to listen, because there were situations where my wife she would have to take my siblings to school, and she'll have to take them to the doctor's office, and it was challenging, because by my siblings not being her children, they didn't always respect her in that way, and when she talked to me about it, I was so consumed about the things that were going on at the time that I didn't really listen. And me not listening made her feel like the walls was just crashing in on her.
Yeah.
But now, well, throughout the years, I realized that in order for a person to be able to make it to the next step through whatever it is that they're going through,
Yeah.
they have to have somebody to talk to, preferably the spouse,
Yeah.
because you're the one that share intimacy ultimately at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and that's so true, babe. And thank you for saying that. It's so true that really what we seek in marriage is we really want to be heard, and we want our feelings to be validated. And it's not even because feelings are not right or wrong; they just are.
yeah,
And so if a person, your wife or your husband is having an emotion or a feeling in that moment, they really just need to be heard. And they need you to say, okay, I hear you. And it has to be like an interest. And okay, so what do you want me to do? How can I help you to overcome those feelings?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time Kenny had, you know, he asked me that, and he said, what is it that I can do? How can I help you to, you know, to get over certain feelings that I had of just feeling unappreciated and feeling unloved, and not necessarily by him, but by, sometimes I felt that way with the children. Not saying that that's how they did feel about me, but I just could go off of how I felt in a moment. And, you know, and I said, well, babe, I just want you to understand what I've been carrying around and how I've been feeling. I just want you to hear me and understand it. And, you know, and I remember one day in particular, it was like a day of deliverance for me, because he said, you know what? He said, your feelings are valid. You have a right to feel how you feel. And I am sorry that you ever even had to carry those emotions. And he was like, and as your husband, I release you from that.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry it no more. And I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm thankful that you were here to support me through that. And literally, it was like when he said all of those things to me, it felt like the weights just fell off.
Yeah.
And it gave me another level of respect for my husband, because he didn't have to do that. And a lot of men don't do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was a day of deliverance. And, you know, and so I just want to, you know, really push it out there that communication is key.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to be able to be vulnerable with each other, to talk with each other, and the other person hear hear what we're saying to each other and really listen to understand.
Yeah. And there's ways to develop that in yourself. Just cognitively or purposefully is the word that I was looking for. Pay attention to what's being said. Listen throughout the whole just the whole conversation, or yes, the whole this the whole dissertation that the person is giving you. Just listen from beginning to the end, and sometimes just reciting a little bit of what they said was kind of like reaffirming and reassuring the person that you are listening to them. And then you can go into, you know, however, you know, you want to communicate that you understand exactly how, you know, the person feels, or what the person is thinking. And from there, you'll be able to give a little bit of insight of your own thoughts on it, or your own process of how, you know, you would like to handle this situation yourself.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you want any relationship, your relationship with your wife, relationship with your children, relationship with your coworkers, this people at the grocery store, everywhere. The skill itself is always applicable. You can always use the skill, because believe it or not, favor comes through communication.
Absolutely. And can I just touch on one thing that you said when in your the statement before the last one that you made, what you described is what is called reflective listening. So, like for example, if I come to you and I say, you know, babe, I'm just hurting today because, you know, I had, you know, I'm just going to make up something real random, but I had a friend that, you know, had a hard time, and, you know, my heart is really, you know, pouring out for them, and, you know, blah, 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 right? And then you say to me, oh, so what I heard you say is that, you know, you just kind of had a hard day today, like an emotionally hard day, because you had a friend that's having a hard time and it's kind of weighing heavy on you.
Yeah.
That what you did was you took what I said, and then you added your thoughts to what you think that I'm feeling, and then you're asking me, am I right? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's actually called reflective listening.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that has to be developed because most of us don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But once you become aware of it, start practicing at home when your spouse is talking to you about something and they're really trying to have a real heart to heart conversation. And even if you have to say, okay, so let me make sure that I understand what you're saying. You're saying that this, and this. And so I think what you're trying to say is, bop, bop, bop. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's reflective listening, and that sounds like you're very engaged. That you have to be engaged to truly be able to reflectively listen.
Yeah.
And when you're reflectively listening, you are taking yourself from the forefront. You're not worried about yourself. You're not thinking about your feelings in that moment. You are zoomed in. You are all in on what is happening with the other person, with your spouse.
Yes.
And so you realize, okay, let me hear them out. And then maybe something that they're saying, it may be a direct thing toward you.
Yeah.
Right? It might be. But hear them out.
Yeah.
Hear them out. And then once you hear them out, you say, okay, so what you're saying is that I hurt you. You're saying that you have been carrying around a lot of weight because of X, Y, and Z that I've done in the past.
Yeah.
And when that person says, yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Well, first of all, let me say, I apologize that you felt that way.
Yeah.
If you in fact did that to them, let them know, you know what? Either A, you could be in a situation where you didn't even know that you were doing something wrong or hurtful.
Yeah.
And apologize and ask for forgiveness. Humble yourself.
Yeah.
Or it could be B, that, maybe that other person's perception of what you did could have been off. And you could say, you know what? I am so sorry that you thought that was happening. But can I explain to you what was really happening?
Yeah.
But at least either way, you're validating that person's feelings and you're not making them look like they're stupid or they're dumb for feeling how they're feeling, because their feelings are their feelings, neither right nor wrong.
Yeah.
But it's theirs.
And a lot of times people feel like they don't really have the capabilities of sharing that because they feel like, well, they just going to tear me down. They're just going to belittle me. They're just going to make me feel like I'm crazy. But these are valid feelings that this person have. And so the one thing that I really want to say and I want to put emphasis on is that this is not so complicated. This is just effort. As long as you're putting forth effort to make your better relationships with everybody in your life, this is all a process. We all have jobs. How do you get your skills for the jobs that you do? You might have went to school. You might have. First of all, we all learned. Every one of us, everybody learns how to do a job. Yeah. They don't always get the skill set up front. They don't always get it right away. But it's the practice that makes the perfect. It's the practice that gives you the ability to demand the things on your job when you have the skill set to acquire the things that they would like to acquire for the company.
Yeah.
Why is your relationship any different?
Exactly.
It shouldn't be any different. It might seem a little complicated. It might not be exactly what you want to do at the time, but it's the little things that you do now that prepares you for a better future.
Yeah.
That's what these things are. Yeah. And the skills prepares you for a better relationship with your wife, prepares you a better relationship with your siblings, your children. Your children are a direct effect of how you're willing to grow in your own. They're a direct effect of it, because either they're going to go through not wanting to speak to you, well, I don't want to talk to daddy because he always mad, or I want to talk to mommy because she's always yelling, or do you want, well, you know what, I don't know what to do, let me go talk to my dad, he normally has wisdom for me.
Yeah.
What type of person do you want to be for your children?
Right.
Because nobody out here is going to help you. Nobody out here is, our people need these skills so that we can help each other, our family.
Yeah. And I think just by default, of who we are, and I know I keep going back to pride, but usually pride is the motive, is the force behind what we do and how we do it.
Yes.
Right. And so, it's like we're always in a sense trying to be that authoritarian.
Yeah.
We always trying to prove our leadership, or prove I'm the one to wear the pants in the house, or whatever. I'm the parent, you the child, you gonna respect me. But here's the thing, when you just walk in it, when you just be who you are, you do have authority, and nobody can strip you of that. Your children will know that you have the authority, and you are the authoritative person in that home. However, it is too many children now, our children, that's afraid to even talk to us.
Yes.
They are afraid to trust us with their information. You know why? Because most of us, we ain't even loyal to our children.
Nope.
Our children will confide in us and tell some things, and you know what? We get mad and we spew it out to our little friends, and their information is all out in the street and everything else. So they can't even have like a low moment without being kicked on by us. We do it,
and we have to realize that we have all different kinds of emotions in us.
Mm-hmm.
We have hurt, we have joy, we have pain, we have uncomfortability, so forth and so on. But most of us love to go towards the pride. Most of us love to go towards any position that gives us power, any positions that keep us from having to subject ourselves to all the other emotions that we don't like.
Emotions. Yep.
That's what we'd rather do. We'd rather have pride than show vulnerability.
And then half of us don't even think it's pride. We don't see it as pride. It's because even while we're talking, I'm like, I could hear a rebuttal. Well, what about discipline? Oh, you discipline your children.
Absolutely.
You discipline your children.
Absolutely.
However, that is not discipline. Is all if I had a pie chart. Right. If I made a pie chart and I broke it down in 4 ways, well, discipline is only a quarter of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have love, and you have relationship, and you have communication. It all makes up a whole. And so we find ourselves, we're always on a disciplining mode. Because, like my son saying, Mom, why you tripping? You always tripping. Yeah. I could have been prideful in that moment. Who you talking to? I'm your mother. Yeah. You don't tell me. And I could have slapped his teeth out his mouth. You understand what I'm saying? But I chose in that moment to humble myself and to say, you know what? No, the truth is my character was off. The truth is I was ranting and raving about something I don't even remember today.
Exactly.
And it wasn't even that important, because when I thought about it, it arrested me.
And discipline is there to set your child back in proper order.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline isn't supposed to be always on the forefront in every portion of your relationship. Mm-hmm. So, because you want your children to be able to come to you, because they want to see you as a fair and just parent. That's how we look at y'all.
Exactly.
So how is it that we can expect him to be fair and just, and we can't give the same respect to our children?
We are to treat our children the way the Most High treats us.
Yes.
We are to treat each other the way the Most High treats us.
Exactly.
If He don't do us like that, we're not allowed to do each other like that, period.
Nope.
One thing me and Kenny always talked about is very important for us to love Yah with all of our heart, our mind, and soul, because the only way that we could truly love each other is if we love Him.
Yep.
If we know how to treat Him, if we know how to stand before Him and ruach and in truth,
yes,
and character,
absolutely,
then we'll know how to treat each other.
Exactly.
We won't be running around cheating on each other.
No.
We won't be cussing each other out and treating each other like trash in the street.
you can have the hard conversations, and hard conversations actually get dealt with,
Exactly.
versus us just brushing up under the rug and never talking or speaking about it again.
Exactly.
How is that bringing? That gives place to the enemy. Because what it does is it keeps certain emotions and certain feelings hidden from the person that really needs to be a part of what it is that you're going through.
And whom Yah loves,
he chastises.
So why wouldn't he speak through the husband to the wife? Why wouldn't he speak through the wife to the husband if the husband and wife are one?
Yeah.
If they're one. So as his wife, why wouldn't I be able to say certain things to my husband that will help him come back into alignment?
Exactly.
Why can't he say certain things to me that will help me come back into alignment if we got each other's back?
Yeah.
We have to be okay with that, the fact that we are two flesh made one.
Exactly.
And we got each other's back. And the truth is, people out in the world, they will co-sign your crap.
Absolutely.
They will, you know, especially if they're trying to fit in or whatever, they will co-sign all that stuff. But your mate is going to be the one that will tell you the truth, that will be honest with you, because really we're supposed to understand that we are a part of each other.
Yeah.
So if every joint is supplying and my joint over here got a kink, we need to get the kink out.
You gotta get it out. And not only we have to get it out, but we have to put pride on the table and humble ourselves to receive from our spouse.
Yeah.
We have to be able to receive from our spouse, because if we can't receive from our spouse, where else are we gonna go?
Yeah.
We're gonna go out here to people that really don't care that our relationship survives.
Exactly. Who don't really have the invested interest.
No.
You know.
And some of them maybe even be jealous. Not want your relationship to survive. They want you to be over there with us, like crabs in a barrel, keep pulling each other down. Nah, this is not what Yah has for us.
Exactly. So it's time for us to get back in balance, to learn, just the foundational principles of relationship, the foundational principles of marriage, the foundational principles of parenting.
Yes.
And as coaches, that's what we're here for. So don't feel like you're out here on your own. Somebody might say, well, gosh, it's a lot that I need to learn and I need to, try to get to that place. That's what we're here for that. And we would love to be able to support you through that journey of, just getting back on track, learning some of these skills, different things like that. Because honestly, Kenny and I, we've been together for a long time and we've been through a lot of bumps and bruises, and we've learned some stuff along the way, and we would love to be able to share with you what we've learned, along with the principles, along with the skill set and the tools. We want to be able to put some tools in your toolbox that will allow you or assist you in having a restored relationship.
Because we took the time to seek out the Most High. We took the time to seek out other information that can overall help us to be more rounded. Because we realized that it was something missing.
Yeah.
It was something that wasn't being fulfilled.
Yeah.
And when you come to that understanding that it's not being fulfilled, that's when you start to look and seek out different things. But the question has to be asked.
Absolutely.
Somebody has to ask the question. And you can't be offended, or you can't be feel belittled because you don't know.
Yeah, and it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay that we don't know, but we're learning.
Man, we grew up in the city. We grew up, with stuff going on around us, and we didn't understand it, why it was going on. But we had in our mind that this was something that we didn't want.
Yeah.
And we didn't have anything to actually show us how to get out of that situation. So we just leaned on the Most High.
Absolutely.
Lean on the Most High, and we're definitely seasoned, and we are here to help. That's why
we're here to help. We're here to help. So, family, we really enjoyed this time with you, and you can always hit us up on our website, rrcoach.net, rrcoach.net. And until the next time,
Shalom.
Shalom.